Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're unpacking a really profound insight from a text called The Architecture of Achievement. And, it touches on something so fundamental, yet it's incredibly easy to overlook in our crazy daily routines. We're talking about the actual blueprints of how success is built. And on the flip side, how it's unintentionally stalled. We're literally going to look closely at the architecture of your own mind. So here's a question for you. What actually dictates your level of achievement? Seriously, take a second and just think about that. Is it your education? Maybe who you know, the resources you have? Or is it just pure luck? Well, our source text gives this radically simple, but honestly kind of challenging answer. The primary driver of your success, it isn't external at all. It lives entirely between your ears. Okay, let's dive right into this with section 1, the mindset of success. The author lays out a super clear, unmistakable mental architecture that absolutely sets high achievers apart. And it's this: successful people think about their goals most of the time. Now notice the phrasing there, not just some of the time, not just making a wish on New Year's Eve, most of the time. Success doesn't just fall into your lap accidentally, it's the direct result of what occupies your mental real estate from the minute you wake up. Now, what actually happens when you hold on to that intense focus? The text describes this fascinating two-part reciprocal movement. First up, you are continually moving toward your goals. And honestly, this makes perfect logical sense, right? When your mind is totally saturated with what you want to achieve, your behaviors just naturally align. You start making choices, both the massive ones and the tiny everyday ones, that actively compel you into motion. Basically, your actions follow your attention. But here's the wild part. Not only do you move toward your goals, but according to the text, your goals are continually moving toward you. And this brilliantly illustrates a really profound concept. The source material suggests that a highly focused mind creates this almost magnetic pole. By dedicating your thoughts to your ambitions, you aren't just chasing them down some one-way street. You're actually drawing those opportunities, those resources, and those achievements closer to you. It's a total two-way street of momentum. But, how does this magnetism actually work? What's the engine behind it? That brings us to section 2, the law of growth. Here is the exact quote from the text, and man, it is incredibly powerful. Whatever you think about most of the time grows and increases in your life. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. Whatever you think about most of the time grows and increases. This is the fundamental hinge that all achievement turns on. It's like your mind is a giant magnifying glass. Whatever you focus those rays on is going to catch fire and multiply. And the thing is, it's an entirely neutral law. It just amplifies whatever you feed it. Okay, so we've established the underlying theory, but how do we actually apply this in real life? Let's look at section 3, the 3 actions. The source identifies 3 simultaneous actions you've got to take to trigger this growth: thinking about, talking about, and visualizing your goals. It's all about this all-encompassing cognitive immersion. You hold the thought, you actually articulate it out loud, and, this is absolutely crucial, you see the result in your mind's eye. And we're not talking about just passively daydreaming here. It's the deliberate architectural construction of your future achievement. Think of it like a pro athlete, right? They visualize the entire race, every single step, long before the starting gun even fires. If you do these 3 things consistently, focusing that visualization, you are going to accomplish far, far more than everyone else. But this brings us to a really critical crossroads. If the formula is truly this simple, what on earth holds the average person back? Well, the source material draws a very sharp, uncompromising line here. Let's explore what happens when this exact same law of mental growth gets applied completely unconsciously. Which leads us to section 4, the average person's trap. The text explicitly states that the average person is usually thinking and talking about their worries and problems most of the time. So the crucial point is this: that incredibly powerful law of growth we just talked about, it doesn't have an off switch. If you spend your time constantly thinking and talking about your worries, well, what do you think grows? Your worries. It's kind of tragic. But average people accidentally use this universal mechanism to amplify their struggles instead of their success. It's really the ultimate dichotomy of achievement. On one side, we have successful people who just ruthlessly focus on their goals, drawing their desires right toward them through focused visualization. And on the other side, average people who focus on their worries and problems, completely unintentionally multiplying their own obstacles. It's a brilliant, undeniable distillation of why some people soar while others just kind of stagnate. It literally all comes down to where you choose to place your attention. Which brings us to the absolute most important takeaway of this entire explainer. The architecture of your achievement is being built right now, like right this second, in your own mind, by the thoughts you are allowing to live there. That law of growth, it is always working. So I'm going to leave you with this. What are you going to choose to grow today? Are you going to construct goals or are you going to construct worries? Because the choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and hey, keep focusing on those goals.